Modern dating is not chaotic by accident. It follows patterns, power dynamics, and psychological principles that haven't changed in hundreds of years. And no one understood those patterns better than Niccolò Machiavelli. His writings were never meant for romance, yet his insights into human nature, manipulation, loyalty, and strategy map perfectly onto the modern dating world. Most men today walk into relationships emotionally blind, unaware of the power shifts happening around them. But Machiavelli saw these dynamics clearly. In this video, I'll break down Machiavelli's most important lessons for men navigating modern dating, the tactics that protect you, attract the right people, and expose the wrong ones. Some of these principles may feel harsh, but they are brutally effective. And the first one explains why so many men lose respect without even noticing it. Rule number 1. Never show neediness. Machiavelli wrote, "Men should be either treated generously or destroyed, because they take revenge for slight injuries but cannot do so for grave ones." In a modern context, this reveals something subtle. People react strongly when they sense desperation or weakness. Neediness is the modern man's downfall because it shifts power instantly. Neediness isn't about showing affection. It isn't about caring. It's about dependence, emotional dependence. When a man becomes dependent on a woman's attention, he unconsciously makes her the source of his confidence. Every text becomes a test. Every delayed reply becomes a crisis. Every shift in her mood becomes a threat to his identity. Women don't consciously analyze this, but they feel it. A needy man triggers a biological response. This man cannot lead. He leans on me instead of standing beside me. You can see it in men who constantly explain themselves, apologize for imaginary mistakes, fish for reassurance, or panic when conversations slow down. They start negotiating for attention the way a prisoner negotiates for freedom. And in that moment, respect evaporates. A man who passes this Machiavellian principle doesn't pretend to be emotionless. He simply has a life outside the interaction: goals, discipline, direction. He understands that desire is natural, but dependence is dangerous. When a woman senses that your emotional stability doesn't hinge on her approval, she relaxes. She trusts you. And paradoxically, she becomes more attracted. Machiavelli never wrote about relationships, yet his core message rings true: strength attracts loyalty. Weakness invites exploitation. Rule number 2. Control perception, not reality. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are." This single sentence explains one of the most overlooked truths in dating. Perception drives attraction long before reality has the chance. Most men believe they'll be judged on their character, their intentions, their inner qualities. But none of that matters if a woman doesn't feel intrigued, safe, or drawn to your presence first. Women, by nature, read energy faster than facts. They don't wait to read your resume. They judge your confidence, your control, and your emotional state within seconds. A man may be intelligent, kind, disciplined, and ambitious, but if he carries himself with nervousness, insecurity, or self-doubt, none of those qualities register. Women respond to the feeling of you, not the theory of you. This is why men who speak less but move with certainty outperform men who overshare and over-explain. Why average-looking men with strong posture attract more interest than better-looking men who shrink into themselves. Why emotional presence matters more than physical appearance. A powerful perception doesn't require deception. It requires alignment. Align your posture with confidence. Align your tone with certainty. Align your presence with intention. When you look like a man who knows who he is, people treat you differently, especially women. This is Machiavelli's brilliance. He understood that the world responds to images, not inner thoughts. If your appearance communicates strength, women feel it instantly. If it communicates insecurity, they withdraw just as quickly. Rule number 3. Be unpredictable. Machiavelli believed that unpredictability was essential for maintaining power. A predictable ruler invites rebellion. A predictable man invites boredom. And boredom is the silent killer of modern relationships. Predictability doesn't mean reliability. Those are different things. Predictability means emotional routine. It means your reactions can be guessed before they happen. It means you text the same way every day, respond instantly every time, follow the same emotional script, and reveal your motives too quickly. Women don't consciously say, "This man is predictable." But they feel a drop in emotional intensity. The mystery dissolves. The spark fades. The mind stops wondering. You don't need to play mind games to maintain intrigue. You simply need a life rich enough that you don't orbit her constantly. A man who is mission-driven, socially engaged, and internally grounded does not respond the same way every time because he isn't waiting for the next interaction to feel alive. Unpredictability is not inconsistency, it's depth. It's having layers she hasn't seen yet. It's revealing yourself gradually, not instantly. It's surprising her because your life is bigger than the relationship. When a man is emotionally flat, women lose interest. When a man is emotionally volatile, women feel unsafe. But when a man is steady yet impossible to fully decode, women become captivated. Machiavelli knew that the unknown creates fascination. And in dating, fascination is the gateway to desire. Rule number 4, keep your power private. One of Machiavelli's most misunderstood lessons is the idea that a man should never reveal the full extent of his plans, his strength, or his vulnerabilities. He wrote that a ruler who exposes too much invites manipulation, rebellion, and premature judgment. In modern dating, men make this mistake constantly. They reveal their intentions too quickly. They overshare their past too early. They open up their emotional world before a woman has earned access to it. Vulnerability is valuable, but it loses all meaning when given away cheaply. A woman doesn't want you to emotionally strip yourself bare in the early stages. She wants to discover you. She wants to peel back the layers slowly. Mystery is not deception. Mystery is pacing. Men who reveal everything instantly are not being authentic. They are being insecure. They are trying to speedrun intimacy because they fear losing her interest. They hope that by telling her about their struggles, weaknesses, and trauma, they will create a fast emotional bond. But this never works the way they imagine. Early vulnerability communicates one unintended message: I need you to validate my pain. A Machiavellian man understands timing. He knows that privacy is not a wall but a filter. He speaks with honesty but not with desperation. He reveals selectively, not excessively. He lets a woman earn deeper parts of him, which naturally increases her investment and respect. Your power is not in what you hide. It is in what you choose not to hand out for free. Women chase men who reveal themselves slowly because it suggests depth, stability, and confidence. Machiavelli understood that mystery is a form of authority. And in dating, authority is attraction.
Rule number 5, reward loyalty, not beauty. Machiavelli believed that loyalty, not charm, not charisma, not beauty is what sustains kingdoms and relationships. Yet in modern dating, men often violate this principle. They choose partners based on appearance, ignoring the psychological traits that predict long-term peace or long-term suffering. Beauty can captivate you, but loyalty can protect you. Men who fall for beauty alone often end up tolerated, not valued. They ignore red flags because the physical attraction blinds them. They tolerate disrespect, inconsistency, and emotional volatility because they are afraid to lose the rare beauty they think they've found. But beauty is not rare. Discipline and loyalty are. A loyal woman supports your mission. She respects your boundaries. She communicates without manipulation. She shows interest consistently, not conditionally. When you reward loyalty, not looks, you become more powerful in a relationship dynamic. You stop being the man who competes for women who give nothing in return. Instead, you become the man who chooses carefully, confidently, with standards shaped by strength, not desperation. Machiavelli taught that a wise ruler rewards those who stay true during instability, not those who charm him during peace. Apply this to dating. Choose the woman who stands with you when it's inconvenient, not the one who only desires you when it's easy. Rule number 6, prepare for human nature, not ideals. Machiavelli observed that most suffering comes from expecting people to act according to ideals instead of reality. Men entering relationships with unrealistic expectations often experience the same heartbreak again and again. They assume a woman will never lose interest. They assume she will always communicate perfectly. They assume she won't test boundaries or act from emotion. But people, including you, are driven by instinct, insecurity, fear, desire, and self-protection. Machiavelli would tell you that the man who expects purity from human nature is destined to be betrayed by it. This doesn't mean becoming cynical or distrustful. It means becoming prepared. Expect emotional shifts. Expect moments of insecurity. Expect conflict, confusion, and tests. A relationship is not a fairy tale. It's a psychological negotiation between two imperfect people. When you stop expecting perfection, you stop reacting with panic. When you stop expecting purity, you stop giving blind trust. When you stop projecting ideals, you start seeing reality. This mindset protects you from heartbreak and manipulation because your expectations match the true nature of relationships. Machiavelli would remind you that clarity is the beginning of control. And in modern dating, control is not about dominance, it's about emotional responsibility. When you understand human nature, you stop getting blindsided. You stop getting played. And you start navigating relationships like a man who sees the unseen, the very essence of Machiavellian intelligence. Rule number 7, led with action, not words. Machiavelli believed that in moments of uncertainty, people follow the one who acts, not the one who speaks. Words are cheap, promises are fragile, and intention means nothing without movement. In modern dating, this rule separates leaders from passengers. Most men talk too much. They announce their goals, declare their feelings, explain their plans, and reveal everything they hope to become without backing it with consistent action. They overpromise because they believe enthusiasm and sincerity will compensate for their passivity. They think saying the right things will inspire attraction. But Machiavelli understood something deeper. People respect what you demonstrate, not what you describe. A man says, "I'll take you out sometime," but never chooses a day. He says, "I'm working on myself," but he still lives in the same patterns. He says, "I want something real," but behaves casually or impulsively. Empty words weaken your influence. They show inconsistency between your identity and your behavior, a crack in your foundation. Women sense this immediately. Leadership in dating isn't about dominance or control, it's about clarity. You make decisions, you move conversations forward. You show initiative with calm confidence. You define the direction without forcing anything. A woman naturally relaxes when she feels a man can guide the moment, whether it's choosing where to meet, setting boundaries, or expressing his standards. She becomes chaotic when he can't. Machiavelli understood that decisive action creates order, while hesitation creates chaos. And in dating, chaos kills attraction, clarity builds it. The Mach principle across all of Machiavelli's writings, one principle emerges again and again: respect is non-negotiable. Once a subject loses respect for a ruler, the kingdom collapses. Once a follower loses respect for a leader, authority evaporates. And once a woman loses respect for a man, the relationship is already over, even if it continues physically. Men most often lose respect not through weakness but through tolerance. They tolerate disrespect, tolerate boundary violations, tolerate inconsistency, tolerate emotional manipulation, all because they fear losing the woman. This is the modern man's tragedy. He bargains with dignity to preserve connection, but Machiavelli understood the psychology of power. He knew that when you negotiate for respect, you lose it permanently. People don't respect those who fold to emotional pressure. They respect those who hold the line. A Machiavellian man doesn't yell, doesn't threaten, and doesn't punish. He simply refuses to stay where he is not respected. He doesn't lecture, he doesn't beg. He walks away from behavior that undermines his values. This is why respect is more important than love, because love can grow from respect, but respect cannot grow from weakness. You can recover attraction, you can rebuild connection, but once a woman sees you as a man who tolerates disrespect, she no longer sees you as a man she can truly desire. Respect is not granted, it is maintained, and maintaining it requires the willingness to enforce standards through action, not argument. The modern mock tactic Machiavelli taught that withdrawing power is often more effective than asserting it. In relationships, men often do the opposite. They try harder when things fall apart. They chase more when she loses interest. They explain themselves, negotiate, and beg for emotional security. But nothing destroys attraction faster than a man who refuses to walk away from disrespect. Walking away is not abandonment, it is self-governance. It is the ultimate Machiavellian tactic because it signals three things. You do not depend on approval. You are willing to lose someone who takes you for granted. Your self-respect is stronger than your desire. A woman may challenge you, test you, or even pull back to see if you crumble. But when she sees you remain centered, willing to step back rather than cling, the entire dynamic changes. She recognizes your value instantly, because a man who can walk away is a man with options, confidence, and power. This is the moment most men fear, and the moment strong men master. Machiavelli would say, do not fight for what disrespects you. Walk away, and watch how quickly the tide turns.